So hello everyone, I'm Vi, I'm e-commerce marketing expert at Omnisend, and today we're going to talk about all things deliverability. We're going to say a lot of deliverability and we're going to say it fast, so save space and patience. And to help us with that, today we have none other but Desi, who is our customer experience deliverability team lead. Say that 10 times fast. But in all things, Desi is our deliverability queen, and I'm so happy for everyone to meet her. She has a wealth of knowledge on this topic, so whether you have just small questions or you have something more complicated, do not hesitate, ask away, and we'll be very happy to answer those questions. Desi, would you like to say hello?
Hey everyone, thank you all for joining. It's so nice to be here, and kudos to everyone for caring about deliverability.
Because if we don't care about deliverability, our emails do not reach inboxes. So, alrighty, a couple of things to know before we begin. This session is being recorded. You will receive the recording in a couple of days. We will include the slides and all the assets that we're going to share throughout. And also, if you have any questions, as I mentioned, we'll be happy to answer those. There's a Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen, so drop your questions in there, and then we will either pause to answer those then, or we will have Q&A session at the end, and we'll answer those then. And also, we have our customer support team in a chat. They're real people, not AI. They'll be happy to guide you if anything more complicated arises, or if you have general questions about Omnisend as well. And also, something that's not mentioned in the slides, we're going to have a giveaway of our exclusive Omnisend swag. So make sure you're paying attention to what Desi has to say. And also, it's very important for your inbox, so pay attention for that as well, not just the swag. Alrighty. As I said, if at any point you have any questions or anything, drop that in the Q&A tab, and we'll see it and we'll try to answer it as soon as possible. Alrighty, Desi, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Vi. So I hope you all are seeing my screen. We'll start from the agenda. Here is what we will cover today. We will start from preparation, what to fix now before the chaos starts. Then we go through the sending during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, how to pace, how to segment, and how to message smartly. And then, of course, we will talk a bit about the aftermath, how to diagnose issues, how to recover if they appeared, and how to use these learnings in Q1 so you don't repeat the same mistakes again. Think of it as a simple timeline before, during, and after. And if you get all three right, your deliverability will hold up when it matters the most. Okay, so Black Friday, Cyber Monday is peak inbox chaos for everyone, not just you. Everyone is sending at a huge scale. So inbox providers are seeing a lot of traffic, a lot more than usual. And interesting fact is that 40 to 60% of the annual revenue for a lot of e-commerce brands often comes in Q4, exactly during the holiday season. So it's really important for you to be on track and make the most out of it. And unfortunately, even one mistake during this time can cause you weeks, even months of recovery, because as you know, deliverability is very hard to build, very easy to lose and to ruin, and again, hard to recover from issues. So pay attention to everything we'll go through today. I once had a client who was perfect the entire year, and then exactly on Black Friday, for some reason, they decided to blast to everyone, literally everyone in their list, including people who were inactive for years. Gmail, of course, noticed that, and what was the result? Weeks of spam foldering placement. It was really hard to get back on track and to recover the reputation, and that is why mailbox providers enforce stricter rules, not only now but since February last year, actually. They're protecting their users. That's the most important for them. And we need to play by their rules. As we like to joke in our industry, the mailbox providers are the judge, the jury, and the executor. And even if we are not happy with the requirements or we do not agree with them, there's nothing we can do. We just need to comply. And preparation is the stage where you still have control over things. If you do the work now, you'll be ready. If you wait until November, unfortunately, it might be too late. And let's start with the basics. The technical setup we all need to make sure is on track. We're starting with SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. We need to make sure they are aligned and tested before we start with the volume increase. We need to have MX records in place. If you're not sure what that is, these are the records that are responsible for the inbound traffic. You can actually send if you don't have MX records on your domain, but you cannot receive emails, and some mailbox provider can view that as a suspicious behavior. My recommendation for you is to check now if everything is good on that front. You can check with your DNS provider or hosting provider. If you can get in touch with them, our support is available 24/7. So feel free to get in touch and we will guide you through the process. We can check for you if everything is in place. Usually such issue can arise if you use a subdomain. For example, you've been sending with your root domain for a while, but then you decide to separate marketing from transactional traffic. And when you do that, you forget to copy the DNS records from the root domain to the subdomain as well. If you have this case, like if you are planning to use a subdomain, make sure you check that as well. The from and reply to addresses needs to be set up correctly, and they must be mailboxes that can accept emails as well. So no reply is not an option. This is a Microsoft requirement since recently, and it's a best practice followed by most of the biggest mailbox providers. So I advise you to follow it for best deliverability. The one-click unsubscribe is another technical requirement since February last year. You need to be very careful about this one if you're not using Omnisend. If you are using Omnisend, you are totally fine. We are taking care about this for you, so you don't have to think about it. However, I will use this opportunity to remind you that the unsubscribe link that is in the body of your email is still a legal requirement in many countries, and you need to make sure it is as visible as possible in your email design. I've seen clients going extra mile to hide this unsubscribe link for some unknown reason to me. The only result they got after this is more spam complaints and trashed reputation. Be respectful towards your recipients and give them the opportunity to unsubscribe if they are no longer interested in your content. That is the best thing you can do for your domain reputation.
Desi, I'll just jump in before we move ahead. There's a question from Alex, and he's asking, what if the reply email can accept mail, but the from email cannot? Is that okay?
It is okay, but I would still advise you to use both functioning domains to have the maximum results possible. It's the best practice, and we highly recommend that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course. And finally, for the technical readiness, I would advise you to seed tests across Gmail, Yahoo, Microsoft, and any other big destination you are sending emails to. It might be if you are sending in Europe, for example, big destinations here are Orange, Wanadu in France, GMX, Free, webmail in Germany, etc. So make sure you know your audience, you know where you're sending, create test mailbox there, and send a campaign before you start increasing the volume, so you can check everything from a technical perspective. I usually do not recommend seed tests in terms of inbox placement. For me, that's not relevant anymore in modern deliverability reality, because now everything is about engagement and you cannot judge about inbox placement from seed test. But for simple checks like technical readiness, it's still a very nice tool, and I recommend you do that. Now let's see about data and segmentation. You know, your list is your biggest asset if you manage it correctly, of course. And to do that, you need to suppress bounces and complaints in case you're not using Omnisend. If you are, again, we are doing that for you, so you don't need to worry about it. Then you make sure you keep your spam rate under 0.1%. That's really, really important. If you're following the deliverability trends, you probably know already that since February last year, the maximum allowed threshold for bulk senders is 0.3%. But this is the maximum allowed threshold, and do not recommend you to go there at all. The recommended is 0.1%. If you try to stay below that, you will be good, I promise you. Then I suggest you define activity windows. In my experience, the standard is 60 to 90 days, but I will open a bracket here and say that this is very specific to every unique business type. So you need to, again, know your audience, and based on your the type of your business, your frequency, your audience, etc., you can discover your activity windows are different. What I'm sharing here is just the average. Let's say what works for most people and brands. Then we need to
Sorry,
segment.
Desi. I'll
Yeah,
jump in. I'll jump in because
of course.
it takes time for people to type questions, and I don't want us to get too far ahead of that.
Yes,
There's an excellent question about the spam rate as well. Is when is the best time to check it per campaign? Last 7 days or last 30 days? When and how? Like, what's your recommendation?
okay, so I would do that on a daily basis if you are sending often, like almost every day, or after each campaign, but do not check it right after the campaign is sent. Give it some time, because some people will check their mailboxes a few days later and may react later. And there's two main places where you can check for spam complaints and for spam rates. So first is, of course, your Omnisend reporting page, where you can check spam rates per campaign and then overall for your entire traffic. Keep in mind, though, that Gmail, which is the biggest destination for most of the senders, do not send back individual spam reports, which means that in your Omnisend reporting or your ESP reporting in general, if you're not using Omnisend, you will never see spam complaints from Gmail. Gmail is displaying spam rate only in Google Postmaster to the dashboard they have. If you do not have an account there yet, I invite you to do that. It's strongly recommended. It's a very useful tool. I will give some more details about it a bit later in the slides. In Google Postmaster Tools, when you choose spam rate from the drop-down menu, you will see a timeline. You can pick last 7 days, like last 30 days, last 60 days, and last 90 days. And you can check if you have spikes. So Gmail will not tell you which are the individual complainants, but will tell you when exactly, on which dates you had a spike of more than 0.1. In this case, they will show you every spike. It can be bigger than that. I hope it's not, but you can track this way where this spike happened, and you can try to identify which campaign triggered it, and then take actions based on that. If you have people in your list who opened just one email before the spike and then stopped opening or interacting with any emails afterwards, this might potentially mean that these are the people who marked your email as spam, because there's no actual way for you to know which are the Gmail recipients who marked you as spam, but you can kind of guess based on activity. And that's why when we are doing segmentation, especially for Gmail, I advise people to avoid using opened at least one email in the last X amount of time. I usually recommend opened or clicked at least twice, because this way you will filter out the people who opened or clicked your email only to mark the spam. And yeah, that is the best thing you can do to avoid it. I hope this answers the question. And I see you're back by.
Yeah, everyone, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to drop those in the Q&A tab. And again, thank you so much for asking those.
Yes, please keep going. It's very cool to answer these. Okay, so we were into segmentation. It's a great approach to segment your database into activity, um, like engagement activity. So you can have VIPs, who are the people who engage most often with your emails and campaigns. Then you have the active audience, who are still very active but not as active as the VIPs, as the most engaged people. And then you have the dormant accounts, who never or not recently, for example in the last 12 months, opened, clicked, or engaged in any way with your content. And then you can use that to plan your campaigns afterwards. And of course, if you don't have a sunset policy yet, I invite you to introduce it. Here I can share a short story about a cosmetics brand I worked with few years ago. They had around 50%, if I'm not mistaken, inactive audience in their list. After we cleaned it together and removed the inactives, not only their open rate improved significantly, but their revenue percent doubled. Why is that? Because if you're sending to that many inactive recipients, a lot of the traffic will automatically go to the spam folder. The mailbox providers will see that you're targeting a lot of inactive users, and they might place emails who will be potentially opened by active subscribers to the spam folder, and they will never be seen. When you send mostly to active contacts, so the ratio is in favor of the active contacts, then chances are more messages will land in the inbox, and you have higher chances of people actually opening, interacting with them, and buying for you. That's basically the power of clean data. Okay, let's continue. Mailbox providers hate surprises and hate spikes. They do not want to see spikes from you, basically because this is what spammers do. And here I want to mention something very important. If you want to have good deliverability and land in the inbox, study what spammers do and do exactly the opposite, because mailbox providers, they know how spammers behave, and their filters are designed to automatically block and penalize such behavior. And having huge spikes in volume is very difficult for spammers. So you need to do the opposite, and instead of blasting huge volume, you need to increase the volume gradually. My recommendation will be 25 to 35% increase per campaign. And it's very important to hit the peak before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, meaning that you need to plan your campaigns and the increase rate very carefully, so the maximum volume you want to reach will be reached before the peak date. So you can test out how this works, and to make sure you won't have issues with the volume spikes. Yeah, I already talked about that. Don't save re-engagement for Black Friday itself. And here I'll share another story from a few years ago. I worked with a brand that decided to send "We miss you" emails on Black Friday morning. And guess what? Unfortunately, those recipients were not missing them back. What happened? Gmail flagged them uh, as spam, and the entire Black Friday Cyber Monday campaign was ruined because fixing the reputation issues took a lot of time, and they could not get the maximum out of it. Again, my suggestion will be warm up early and stay steady. That is the key. Let's talk a bit about automation as well. Automation is power, but only when it's balanced. So try to orchestrate SMS plus email traffic and do not overlap them. Use campaigns that will complement each other instead of sending the exact same content over SMS over email and other marketing channels that you're using. Try to do it as smooth as possible and orchestrate the whole flow. Transactional emails can help stabilize the reputation. They are very good for your deliverability help because they normally generate high reputation, high engagement. But remember that they do not protect you from bad campaigns. Also, transactional status do not guarantee inbox placement, and you need to be very careful with your overall reputation, especially if you do not separate your marketing from transactional traffic, and if you use the same domain for both. If your domain reputation is tanked because you had an issue with your marketing campaigns, then unfortunately your transactional flow might be affected as well. So be careful about that. Usually when I do an audit for a client, I subscribe for their newsletter to get familiar with their content and their sending frequency, etc. And imagine my surprise when I subscribed to a client's email program and then I received 7 emails in 48 hours. That's only 2 days. So I got 2 campaigns from them. I enter a few different automation flows at the same time. It was crazy, and it's, of course, it's not helpful for everyone. It's just noise, and not only that, but it can be terrible for the reputation if these people decide to react and mark the sender as spam. The interesting thing here is that they were not aware they're doing that. So when we let them know and we fixed it together, this improved their reputation tremendously. Like they did not even know they have an issue with sending that many emails. So keep the flows intentional and not overwhelming. And of course, test, 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 test everything you can think of. Test your strategy, test your segments, your content, your subject lines, sending times. Discover problem. Do not discover problem. I mean, during Black Friday, discover them now so you can fix them. And in case you missed this amazing webinar with Matthias, you see the link for it in the chat. I invite you to have a look because it's awesome. You can get a lot of actionable insights from it. And I smell something exciting here.
Before the exciting part, there is a question from James. Before we start asking questions, there is a question that I'd like you to cover. So James is asking, should transactional emails come from a completely separate domain, or will a subdomain suffice?
Subdomain will suffice. I usually recommend that because it's can be linked very easily to your top level domain, and it takes advantage from the top level domain reputation as well. So subdomains, they have their own reputation. One subdomain cannot influence the reputation of another subdomain, but all subdomains kind of inherit some of the reputation of the top level domain. So you're not starting from zero. That's one. And two, it's better for brand recognition. You do not want to introduce a completely different domain to your audience just months before Black Friday, because first that will require again a lot of warming up, and second, it might cause suspicion in the eyes of the mailbox providers. They might see you as trying to impersonate your own brand. So I do not recommend that. The best thing you can do is have one subdomain for marketing, one subdomain for transactional, and then your root domain can be dedicated to your own internal company communication, B2B communication, etc.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Desi. And now I'll be asking questions. We're going to have a little giveaway now to win our exclusive swag kit. And we will test how well you were listening to Desi. And the way goes, we will reveal the question. I will read it a couple of times. And then Desi will reveal the answer options. And you must type the correct letter of the correct answer. Okay, guys? So I'll read the question, and then you type the correct letter of the correct answer. So these go really fast, so make sure you're ready. Desi, reveal the question.
Drum roll.
What
Okay.
is the recommended spam complaint rate by inbox providers? What is the recommended spam complaint rate by inbox providers? I can see some correct answers in there, but you must type the correct letter as soon as we reveal them. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Desi, reveal the answers.
Here we go.
Here we go. Okay, the chat is on fire. Thank you, everyone. I can see you've been listening. Amazing.
Nice. Awesome.
Great. So our customer support will post in the chat what information we need from you and how to send it to us safely. So just pay attention to the chat. Whoever won will receive that information shortly. And Desi, please continue.
Okay, let's continue with part two, Black Friday, Cyber Monday sending. Now that you've prepared, let's step into the busiest week itself. I'm starting with the key dates. I think it's very important for every one of you to plan your holiday traffic accordingly, starting from the week prior to Black Friday, that's November 21st to 28th. Brands usually use that week to advertise the upcoming sale, so don't miss that opportunity. Then November 28th this year is the big day or Black Friday. November 29th is Small Business Saturday. December 1st is Cyber Monday. From my experience during the past few years, Cyber Monday actually drives more revenue to some brands compared to Black Friday. So don't underestimate it and plan accordingly. And then we have, of course, the Christmas sales and clearance campaigns until early in January. So it will be a busy quarter for everyone. Again, don't think of Black Friday and Cyber Monday as 2 days only. Think of it as a season and spread your efforts. And when you scale, you need control. It's very important. So, first, you need to monitor throttling and slow down if needed. What do I mean by that? Is during this holiday season and peak dates, mailbox providers are getting tons of emails from every brand out there. Their servers are often getting overloaded, which may cause some emails to be, as we call it, deferred or throttled or just limited. And how can you notice that? You might start to see temporary failures in your campaign stats, or just some slight delay in delivery rates. And the best advice here will be to monitor and, if possible, slow down if that start to happen. How you can slow down, if you are asking? um, to do that, the best advice I have for you is to split the big sends into waves. So instead of sending one big campaign in the morning, you can schedule a few smaller batches of the same campaign and send it during different times of the day. This way, if you start noticing issues with one of the batches, you can react fast, mitigate, and have the best results possible. And believe me, mailbox providers will love that and will reward you for it. As I mentioned earlier, they do not like big spikes, and they are very much appreciative towards senders who are spreading the volume throughout time and do not blast everything. This will give time to their filters to adapt, to make sure you're not spamming, to make sure that your content is actually wanted by the recipients, and will place your emails where they're supposed to be, in the inbox. And following this advice, you can um, have a, let's call it a plan B. That's a trick I'm using with some clients. You can save one of these badges aside, like in your back pocket, and if issues arise with some of these smaller campaigns, for example, one of the badges is generating higher spam or higher unsubscribe, and you are suspecting that your domain reputation might start to go down, the next thing you do is you're taking this batch with engaged contacts from your back pocket, and you send to it right after that. So this will give the opportunity to for the filters to adapt and to get your reputation back on track. Like it's a small trick that I hope you will not need to use, but in case, just remember you can do that. And finally, another smart tip for senders is to randomize send times. What do I mean by that? Is to avoid top of the hour first, and then the 15, the 30, and the 45-minute mark. Why is that? Because everyone is scheduling their campaigns during this time. There are spikes for the mailbox providers as well. So servers are again getting overloaded during these times. You might get emails bounced or temporarily deferred just because the traffic is too big. And not only that, but at the same time, a lot of emails will arrive at your clients' mailboxes. So, what you want actually is to stand out and have your message be actually seen and read in the mailbox chaos that will happen on that day. Randomized ties is a very nice tip that I've seen working for a lot of brands. Try it out and let us know if it actually worked for you. And again, don't forget that slow and steady always wins when we talk about deliverability. And of course, content matters. A very important thing is to match the subject line with the content. I will remind you from earlier that our main goal is to do exactly the opposite of what spammers do. So, spammers often mislead clients when they use subject lines that do not match the content. don't do that. Make sure it matches, and make sure you're not misleading them with reply or forward, so re and fwd in front of the subject line if it's not really a reply or a forward. I've seen brands doing that. I can tell you the open rate doesn't go above 5 or 10% with these campaigns, because mailbox providers, they know about this behavior. They know that this is not really a reply and not really a forward, and they will never intentionally place that email in the inbox. So don't do that. You're just ruining your reputation.
I'll just
Uh,
jump in, Desi, on this particular reply and forward message, because I know from my experience, sometimes we look at our competition and we think, oh, that's a new thing they're trying out. Maybe I should try it myself. And with this specific example, I've seen some of my clients and people in e-commerce space, they get tempted by it and that, oh, it looks really cool. It's a reply or it's a forward. So thank you so much for emphasizing that it might look cool and fun and shiny. No, no,
oh,
no.
no. I've actually been on a call with people from Gmail, and they specifically emphasized on that. Please, people, never do that. Like it's a terrible thing you can do to your domain reputation. And of course, if you can personalize your offers by segment, I will not jump in with particular examples because you know your audience best, but just know that it's a best practice and mailbox providers will appreciate it. And of course, keep HTML light and mobile friendly. To be honest, I don't remember the exact statistics, but I think it was above 70% the number for messages that are opened on mobile device this year. So more than 70% of the messages are opened on mobile, not desktop. So be respectful to your audience again, and make sure you test your mobile version to make sure it's rendered correctly. And test your subject lines early before you start sending big volumes. Here we have an awesome tool that allows you to generate and test subject lines. Our AI email subject line tester, you will see a link to it in the chat. It's awesome. Give it a try. You won't regret it. Same goes for our smarter writing suggestions. If you're using Omnisend, you probably already saw that. If you haven't tried it, do it. You won't regret it, I promise. And now let's talk about frequency. How often is too often? Because there is a thing like subscribers fatigue, and we do not want to go there. The highly engaged, or as we call them, VIP audience, the most frequent buyers, you can allow just on this day or during the high holiday season to send 1-2 times per day. Do not go over that, it will be too much. For actives, once per day is okay. For dormant accounts, I would say 2-3 times per week is the best frequency you can allow. So plan accordingly. If you're planning to introduce dormant accounts, make sure you schedule so you do not send more than 3 times per week to these guys. And another advice is to set a global cap. So no one should get more than 4 or 5 emails in 72 hours. And remember that frequency is about balance, not volume. If you're seeing something is not going the way you imagine, you can always pull back and try to mitigate the situation. So monitor all the time. And we already talked about that, but make sure you do not overlap flows, different flows. Make sure your subscribers are getting, as I mentioned, no more than 4 or 5 emails in 72 hours. That should be the maximum.
I'll jump in just one comment on that one because it's a very common question that people have. So, how do you, how do I not overwhelm my audience, or like how often should I send things? So I really, really recommend you will receive the slides in the follow-up email. So save this. Make it your desktop. Make it available for you, print it out, just stick it on the wall in front of you, and always refer to this as your cheat sheet, because I know from my own experience, from people that I work with, that especially when the Black Friday is coming up, you will feel tempted to send out more emails than you probably should. There might be that email panic where you just like, I'll just send to everyone. I'll send all campaigns to everyone. And it's a valid feeling. But if you can have this cheat sheet in front of you and be like, okay, while Desi, who is Deliverability Queen, has told me that this is the golden rule, then, I think it will bring you peace of mind on that as well. So Desi, thank you so much for adding this. And
And
there's an excellent question as well. Sorry for jumping in. But is how often is too often for SMS? Do you have an advice on that?
on SMS, I will go even lower than that, because with SMS, people are still not really that used to receiving promotional SMS messages. SMS is still technology used more for personal communication. That is changing, of course. Now we have a lot of messaging channels in marketing. But first, I will always respect quiet hours. And if I have to set a global cap for SMS, that will be 3, maximum 4 in 72 hours, I would say. And I will not go over 1 SMS per day, even for the VIPs. I hope this answers the question.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Of course. Okay, so Black Friday, Cyber Monday ends, but your job doesn't. So this stage is where you protect your future campaigns. For rapid diagnostics, I will advise you to check Google Postmaster dashboards to identify which segment or content triggered issues, and check your bounce errors. If you're not sure what those bounce errors in your reporting page means, please contact our support department. We will be very happy to help you troubleshoot and avoid these issues in the future. Um, I can give you millions examples. Unfortunately, we cannot go through bounce errors in just one session. There are too many things that can go wrong, but you should know that we are there for you, and just feel free to get in touch if something happens. And again, don't wait until January to realize you had problems in November. Diagnose immediately after those campaigns. And now I want to use this opportunity to talk about some news coming from Google. Um, I already highly recommended you Google Postmaster tools. And if you checked it out or used it already, you know that in Google Postmaster V1 dashboard, you see domain reputation, IP reputation, spam rate, and a few more things that are very useful. However, last week, Google announced that Postmaster Tools V1 UI will be deprecated as of September 30th, so today, basically. They say it will be the last day where V1 will be live. Afterwards, they will deprecate it and leave only version 2. Some of you might have seen it already. And if you did, you notice that domain and IP reputation are missing from there. And that is what will be deprecated permanently from V1 and V2. So domain and IP reputation data will be removed entirely from Postmaster tools and from the V1 API. What is Gmail reasoning for that, you ask? Because if you use it, you know how useful it is. It's the same story for me. It's a great tool for troubleshooting. But according to Gmail, reputation scores often mislead senders into assuming more than what the data truly represents. And they say that in V2, instead, they will emphasize more on actionable insights like positive and negative engagement. So instead of domain reputation and IP reputation, you will have engagement data. And since engagement is the most important factor for inbox placement in 2025, I think this will be really amazing for all senders following best practices. What is not that positive, let's say, is that V2 will be launched in January next year. You will see the official Google announcement in the chat, so you can open read it for more details. But according to the information shared there. After V1 is deprecated today, the V2 dashboard will show only spam spikes data as an actionable insight until the new positive negative engagement data is introduced next year. I realize the timing is not the best, especially now during Black Friday season. So my recommendation for you, if you lose domain reputation data, is to start checking more actively the spam reports and also to always rely on trends over time. So do not stick with specific numbers of opens, clicks, etc. Check how the trends over time are looking. If the trend is increasing, it's positive, always good, so you can continue the way you are. If the trend is going downwards, then it's time for troubleshooting and investigation to try to see what's wrong and improve it. If you need help with that, again, our support is there for you. And for more information, please check the official Gmail announcement. And what to reflect on after the holidays. Which segments gave the highest return of investment is maybe my favorite one. It can be very insightful. Which times converted best? And which dormant segments are worth warming in Q1? And an interesting story about the second one is about a brand I worked with that after Black Friday and Cyber Monday learned that their evening scents converted 20% better than the morning scents. That was really surprising, but was a great insight that they got after they analyzed their campaign performance, and that helped them shape their next 2 quarters. So kudos to them. Black Friday, Cyber Monday is not just sales, it's data, a lot of data you're getting. So use it wisely and get the most out of it. And that was all from me. Now, let's see if you have questions.
Desi, thank you so much. And everyone, if you have any questions, now is your time to type those out. We are not going anywhere just yet, so type it out. If you go back one slide of your post Black Friday learnings, from my experience, it can be that thing that feels a little bit underwhelming. So I just launched my campaigns. Black Friday has passed. Maybe even like Christmas have passed. Like the whole Q4 has passed. Like you've done so much work, and then getting into that mindset, oh my God, now I have to look at the reporting. And that for a lot of people, especially if you have a small team or maybe you're running your business solo as well, that can feel like, oh my God, that's another chore. I have a year to plan ahead and all those things. But as you said, that is where your data lies. Like, imagine the volume of emails you send, SMS you send. Like, that is pure gold because you understanding your audience better and you can prep for next year as well. So instead of waiting another year to go back, dig through the data, you can do your analysis right there and then. Like, don't wait for too long.
Yeah, it's good. You warmed up about it for months. You reached basically everyone in your audience if you did it correctly, and this is a precious data you have for everyone in your list. And as you know, your list is your active, the most expensive active, because as I love to say about email compared to social media, the algorithms you have there can change from one day to another. You lose everything. But with email marketing, you have your list that it's your own asset. Wherever it happens, you have it. You have built a relationship with these people, and you just need to nurture it to get the most out of it.
And I also wanted to add to the first point as well, which segment drove highest ROI. And some people might be thinking, so how do I know that? And the good thing is we do have campaign reporting based on segments. So even if you want to combine two segments, don't bulk it. Make sure you're adding those two segments separately. And then you'll have proper data to look at. Okay, these people might have liked this offer better, this converted better with these people. So absolutely check it out and make sure you are using all your segments. And if you have no idea what I'm just talking about, you just contact our customer support team. They will guide you through our dashboard. They'll show you where to find it and how to use it.
Yeah, great point. I love Omnisend reporting. It has so much actionable data there, not only about segments, but workflows as well. So if you haven't yet, go check that out. It's really useful.
Alrighty, there's a question, and if this is worth another webinar, please let us know. But the question is for us new Omnisend customers, so someone who probably joined recently. Is there a quick summary on how to use Google Postmaster, like best practices, anything that comes to mind? Or is it something that is too wide of a topic and there are some resources that we could direct people to?
Of course, you can check Gmail's article about it. Like in Google support section, there is an article dedicated to Postmaster tools. We have an article in our knowledge base that is regarding the integration we have with Google Postmaster. To be honest, I'm still not sure what will be the future of this integration now with the changes that are coming basically now. We will aim, of course, to have integration with the actionable insights. We just don't know how this will look yet. As soon as we find out, we will let you know. We will have support articles written in our knowledge base, and you will be informed on time. Not sure if we have article on the usage, but from my experience, what is the most valuable there for the senders is the spam rate, the domain and IP reputation, which will be replaced with actionable insights regarding positive, negative engagement, and you have authentication errors. So you can see there if your SPF, DKIM, and DMARC are failing. So if you have issues with DMARC, that's a serious issue, I would say. It's something you need to check out because someone might be trying to impersonate your brand. Check out different DMARC policies. Again, that's a separate webinar topic if I have to talk about DMARC and the different policies. Just a hint that P equals none is not enough for your security. You might want to upgrade to P equals quarantine, so quarantine policy or reject policy to protect your domain in the best possible way against phishing and impersonation of your brand in general.
Thank you so much. That was like the best crash course we could have had on that. Alrighty, looking at the questions and the time, it looks like we are all good. Desi, thank you so much for being here once again and guiding us through the most important thing, getting our emails to those inboxes. So thank you again so much.
Thank you, Vi, for being an awesome host. Thank you, everyone, for joining, for all the questions. I hope this was really helpful to you. And we're here for you to support you during this very important time of the year. Good luck to everyone. We are excited to see your awesome results.
Exactly. As Desi said, we have our customer support team available 24/7. If you get overwhelmed, have questions about anything, contact us. We'll be happy to help you. And again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.